that. Okay, tomatoes. Are we running? So you can see actually right here on the top, there's a little bit of wilting going on. So that's probably this plant needs a little bit of water, or you know, it's in some kind of a stress, which happens when you end up getting in this phase where it starts setting all the fruit and has all these flowers and buds everywhere. It's using a lot of energy. So that's why you need to really watch them, take care of them. And especially at this stage, I mean, tomato worms can eat your whole plant in like 3 days. So you got to keep an eye. Tomato worms are easy to spot just because when you see the leaves, you'll see a branch and no leaves on it. And you'll be like, wait a minute, there's something going on. And they're hard to find. You got to really look. They actually spawn in the soil. So
how do you pick your tomatoes?
Wait till they color on the plant.
I mean, you pick your plant type.
So, oh yeah, for the specific variety of tomato, I am a fan of like paste tomatoes or something that's really meaty, because I like making salsas and sauces. So instead of one that's like a tomato on the vine, it's a very juicy, like has a lot of liquid in it. Those are good like for other applications for slicing or sometimes salads or. But I like the thicker flesh ones much better. And then a lot of times I'll look at like the hairs on the plant. These are actually essentially roots all on the stems there. Sometimes you get them like this beautiful like rainbow color or golden shimmering look to them. So you have like different tomato varieties. We have a lot of heirlooms here. Heirloom essentially means like a old variety or original. So if you ever accidentally break a branch, you can stick it in water. It takes about maybe 2 weeks, and then it'll end up rooting. Then you just stick that in the ground, and there you go, another tomato plant. So you don't have to buy a whole bunch of tomato plants. You just need one, and then you can I can make probably 100 more plants from all this. But one thing with tomatoes is you plant them really deep. So when you plant them, say this would be my whole tomato plant from here all the way up to here. I would plant all of this in the ground, all of this in the ground, everything just totally buried. So then you end up getting a large root ball. And of course with that large root ball, now eventually after that all sets in, the plant can end up getting much bigger and having some crazy production like this. So
tomatoes here, one of the main ingredients.
Oh, I love tomatoes. Yeah, for everything. You can never have enough tomatoes. And
so is tomato a fruit or vegetable?
Tomato's fruit. So one thing that we do before we actually plant the tomatoes to prep the whole garden, because my good buddy Kamran, thank you Kamran, get some fish or any fish carcasses after you've done eating it and whatnot, and we bury the fish whole in the garden. And we planted probably 2 to 3 weeks after we did all that. It actually will end up decomposing, but it introduces a lot of nitrogen. And tomatoes and peppers are huge nitrogen suckers. That's their main fuel. So
you got some fishy tomatoes.
We got some fishy tomatoes here for sure. But this is what happens. The thing's freaking loaded with tomatoes here. So, and look at this thickness of this branch. I mean, this is like, how much more healthy does that get? Crazy. Look how thick that thing is. Holy crap, it's a monster. So I'm really excited about this plant because it looks so healthy. Very nice, deep green leaves. Most all plants, see how this one's becoming a little bit light in color? That could be from, it needs something. It needs water, and maybe it's too much fertilizer. Maybe it's, it can be all sorts of things. So sometimes you look at how the yellowing's happening, and so forth. There's so many things. It's all complicated.
There's a tomato.
Yeah. Look at these tomatoes. Look how many there are. It's great. Seriously, there's nothing like after summer. I go in like tomato depression because a fresh grown tomato is like it's like 1,000 times better than you buy in a store. This is amazing. Look at this heirloom tomato. It's beautiful.
Do you? I hear if you talk to your plants, they grow better. Do you talk to your tomatoes?
No, I don't really like actually talk out loud to them. Kind of in my head, and I I just try to give them my good vibes. Sometimes I talk to them. Who knows? Depends on my mood.